Welcome to this session of unraveling the truth. I've been on an interesting journey the past few days, unraveling a lot of spiritual truths that have been hidden from me. And we are being called to purify in our spirit, become holy, and remember what that means. Remembering we are in a labyrinth. Remember that there are so many tricks around us at this time, bigger than we haven't been giving enough credit to evil. What do I mean by that? There has been a deception that we can be in the world and not of the world more than we are doing. So the participation in evil has to be better. And I channeled this prayer that I think is very, very important right now. So let's do it. This place is holy. This place is safe. This space is sanctified with God's grace. I welcome holy love and light. In flesh we come, in spirit we fight. Hallelujah to the Most High forever and ever. It is like spirit is not playing right now. What does it mean to be holy and separate? And why is that even important? Think about it. Think about it. We have been walking around in hell. And most of us unknowing, because we mock God at this point. I certainly have. I used to truly, with words, do it. I used to be very scientific and not spiritual at all. I certainly wasn't raised spiritual. I certainly didn't grow up believing in God, and I absolutely was an atheist. Many people that knew me knew that because I made it very vocally clear that I did not believe in God. And now I've went through many journeys. I've went through many layers of peeling off the evil. And am I done? No, I'm still working on it. I still need God. I still need help. But I'm not fearful. I don't fear evil. And I'm calling in people that are ready to step it up, that are ready to take it to the next level. So purification, purity. Evil is constantly attacking purity. And I have Mike Tyson here with the labyrinth, which is funny because I'm imagining Mike Tyson running through the labyrinth, through all the layers and issues. Mike Tyson represents a warrior beyond a warrior. Like, this is the warrior spirit in our dimension. If we have a fighter, this is it. And what we're being asked to do is to fight in spirit. Fight. We come in the flesh, we fight in the spirit. Oh my, yep, Vegas right underneath. Because we have supported evil way too much. Way too much. It's getting in weird little ways like jealousy, envy, participation in things like gambling, sports betting. I know it's like, but I love. Well, do you love evil? And I don't mean that to put fear in your heart. This is no fear. This is not fear-based. If you're scared, look, plague right underneath that. If you're scared, it's because you're sensing the truth that you have given power to evil. And I don't mean that to say like, go to sleep scared now. Get the evil thoughts out. There's a purification happening. When you lay your head down at night, if you have evil thoughts, if you have all these fearful thoughts, it's because the evil's allowed in at this time. Because when you're pure, come to me like a child. When you're an innocent child and pure, you don't think like that. It's only when it's introduced to you that you are like, oh, that exists? I had no idea because I've been in heaven. I thought this was all good. Because good is God, and Freemason is right underneath that, my friends. So a plague is a contagious bacterial disease characterized by fever or delirium, typically with the formation of boils and sometimes infecting the lungs. What I'm seeing is there are plagues at play right now in spirit, in flesh, and what we're calling a disease. These are plagues. These are coming at us in ways that we're not seeing yet. They're gonna be very clear. Like, I see a time coming where it's unraveling. It's unraveling. We're in the labyrinth, guys. We're fighting in the labyrinth. I'm even being asked not to use tarot cards right now. And that's really, really weird because I did so much purification before I sat here. And the holiness of this space is so purified that I'm questioning if I want to pick up these tarot cards. I'm not saying tarot cards are evil. I'm saying I'm questioning it. Because Freemasonry is coming up. And what I'm understanding is a lot of things have been designed and put in opposition to nature that don't represent holiness. And why should we be holy? Well, when the world is full of hell, evil, demonic pleasure, sex and all that, things are being inverted in ways that it's now time to exit. It's now time to leave. It's now time to stop playing games. And this is hard for me as well, because I like things in hell. Apparently I've been comfortable in some of these things that I didn't recognize. And I'm not saying that because I got scared. I'm not saying that because I'm speaking from fear, because my journey through this labyrinth has been teaching me things that some of the stuff that I touch and dabble in, some of the things that I mess with, some of the things that I've done to myself. Sorry, somebody just pointed. I feel like they pointed at me when they were driving by. So what I've been doing is trying to recognize when I'm presented. So we're always presented with a choice. We're presented with left or right, red or blue, good or evil. And as heavy as it is, a lot of times the evil is it's working overtime right now, because when the age of information presented itself to us, it gave us access to everything. And now we're using pleasure and things of the flesh so heavily, it's becoming so prominent that we are getting convoluted, confused on what evil and good is anymore. Things as simple as makeup. I was even contemplating that, where I was like, And it's not because this isn't fear-based. This is truly like inquiring truth. I just want to know what's true. I just want to know the honest truth of holiness, of what it means to separate myself from evil, and what it means to walk in the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil, to be in front of it and to be able to command it and to be able to be a high vibrating spirit that's capable of escaping this institution of death and decay, where I see people blinded and following suit to being trapped. And then I've been lately really, really trying to find my freedom and what that means to liberate myself. So I'm seeing how we have been in a trance, in a hallucination, collectively, a spell, because that's what the Freemasons do. This isn't a cool thing. I don't know if it's all, because I don't like to black and white much of anything, because life is full of gray. Life is a rainbow, a spectrum of everything. So I don't know for sure that this is all evil. There could be very well much so some Masons out there doing good. I don't know. But what I do know is that the majority of what is being pumped out to us, see, things are getting real close. This squirrel just jumped in my face And that's never happened when I've been right here. So just saying, it's trying to get me to be honest here with y'all. But let me just read this. So 14th century, the Bible, the Quran, supreme beings, stonemasons, volume of sacred laws. So brother, one who has taken oath of mutual support. Yes, oldest fraternity in the world. They began their journey in the craft by being with no women, progressively initiated and passed. A beautiful system of morality veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols into 3 degrees of craft. No women. What I'm also seeing lately is how when women were separated from education and knowledge and to be intelligent, we were encapsulated in this spell that we needed men to be our savior of some kind. This whole dominatrix, this whole domino matrix, it's been designed by patriarchy. I'm not saying men are evil. It's not what I'm saying. Patriarchy has designed the system to imprison feminine energy, because feminine energy isn't a square or a box or something that can be, or something that is limited, because everyone has feminine energy, first of all. But I see how they have caged us. I see how they have imprisoned us in this prism. And we're being asked to be light in our spirit and be honest and take ownership over our spaceship. Because this is a temple. And what I'm learning is we put a lot in our temple, whether it's food or lotion or anything chemical. Everything's effing with us, okay? So calm down. Who am I talking to? Myself. Luck meets those who are prepared. We are fighting for our right into the new earth. The labyrinth is not the easiest thing to get through. And it's not for the, faint of spirit? I don't know that term. Faint of spirit? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's not for those who aren't willing to, that don't want to be in the light. Some people don't want to be in the light. I've truly learned that. Some people that you love, that I love, they don't have any desire to be separate, to separate themselves from evil. Vegas specifically, God made sure I made it to Vegas. And it was because of a work trip. I didn't even ever want to go, and I don't ever want to go back. But I went when I was 21, and I know why now. I was innocent enough and pure enough to know good, but also aware enough to, or even impure enough to dabble and see the evil. Like, that's the world the devil would prefer. Something more close to this kind of place where people gamble and prostitute, and nothing against prostitutes, truly. Do what you got to do. I don't know who you are. Live your life. But there's this trap that all these lights, all these flashing lights, all of the lights, Kanye. Exactly. All of these lights and all of these false lights, all of this false projection reality that we're dealing with, we're getting too pizzazz. We're getting too wowed by what phones can do. Wow, technology, oh my gosh, AI, everything. Like, It's so wonderful. No, it's addicting and it's hurting us and it's killing us and it's trying to take our children's souls. And I am a protector of children. I'm a protector of the youth. I'm a protector of the innocent. And what I'm seeing is this device stuff, or this play, this orchestration, is to line up children, youth, innocence, the pure, line them up for evil. I'm seeing like a ice cream truck with like demons passing out ice cream and all the little innocent angels lining up to get some ice cream. That's what this is at this point. And with the age of information, with knowledge, what is the age of information? It is the exposure. It's like everywhere at this point. I won't even look at some of this stuff. Some of the stuff they were like, oh, everyone knows this, so pay attention to it. I don't know what's going on. I don't pay attention to that. That's not good. That's not God. That's of evil. So, was that their thought? Okay. Understand. It's only going to uptick from here. What I'm seeing is like the veil was really, really thick. And I know I personally had a psychedelic trip where I was shown good and evil in the craziest, scariest way. Terrifying, okay? Which is a long story. Takes at least an hour to go through. But I got to see what demons are. I got to see what that means. I got to see what angels are. I got to see what it means when you have light beings working behind you, and I got to see what it looks like when you have dark entities working through you. Both are working through you, but behind you, because they're hiding. You see the person, but you don't see what's puppeting them or what's stringing them along. And neither do they. Until you get the eyes to see and the ears to hear, you don't get the discernment. You don't know what the fuck is going on. And gracefully, God allowed that to me. And years later, it's like the veil now is thick again, but not as thick. So now I can see stuff that I can't quite fully explain in 3D. I can't fully articulate it to you fully, unless you got a lot of time to sit there and listen. But these quick fixes, these quick 1 minute, they're harvesting you. This is soul harvesting. When we get on these little 1 minute things and we're like super interested in getting this quick fix, it's just feeding off of you. It's just consuming you because you're consuming it. So you're exchanging energy, because for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So if you're sitting there staring at your phone and consuming, whatever's on the other side of that is also consuming you. So if somehow they're able to manipulate radio waves, frequencies, something like that, ultralight frequency, what's it called? I don't know. All the bands of frequency beyond what we can see, you just can't see what's happening. And I'm trying to help people understand. Yep, Wizard of Oz, try to peep out there, because it's like that. It is like that, where you are on this journey. That's the labyrinth. All these movies, all these projections, everything that's falling at this time is trying to show you the orchestration all around you that you can't quite see yet. So now I'm seeing Judgment Day. What does that mean? It's very, very important, because yes, I do see one day where those souls that are still physically on earth are going to experience a particular day where they fall to their knees. And now I'm seeing the time where I had to surrender and fall to my knees on concrete barefoot, because I was shown something that's very similar to Judgment Day, or something like that. But there's this moment where I was shown this, like, you know what a labyrinth is, right? This intricate thing here, this turning systematic, who can understand it, mandala thing. I was shown it in a way where I learned what God is to a degree. I called it the face of God, but now I'm starting to think like, I don't know what it was, but it was the most powerful force of anything that I can't even like put it into words. It was so, the magnitude of it, I was willing to drop everything to worship it. And I wasn't even a believer. I wasn't even like a religious person or anything like that. I was sort of kind of getting into spirituality at the time. But the way it was shown to me was, guys, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and it's time to purify. It's time to question your actions and your movements and your choices. So histrionic personality disorder came out, and it came out in a previous reading, and I kind of didn't go deep into it. And I think it came out towards the end, and now I'm starting to see, or I'm seeing why it's coming out again, because this specific label that they have in science, because remember, science and sorcery are not of God. Science and sorcery tries to make anything of God look like you're crazy, or labels you something so you don't go further. I see a lot of stories where schizophrenic people, or whatever, many people like that, experience hallucinations, and they see beyond the veil. They see entities or hear or interact with whatever's happening, where their brain isn't so weighed down into a dense reality. They're just naturally closer to the thinness of the veil, where they can see through it. And I hear them tell their stories where they're like, I was seeing stuff, I was hearing stuff, and then I took the medicine and now it's better. And I'm like, huh? So you naturally could see something that other people couldn't see, and then you told someone and they told you you were schizophrenic, and then you chose fear, and then fear took you to the medication, the drug, and the drug suppressed your brain, and now you don't see things anymore. And then now I hear people at the other side of their story in that limitation saying like the previous version of them was wrong, bad, evil, dark, whatever. And it's really crazy to me, because I'm not saying this applies to everyone. I'm not a doctor. Don't come to me for medical advice. I am not qualified to give medical advice. I am not a therapist. None of that. If you take medication, do what you got to do. I am not, none of that. But God is asking me, because I have seen since a small child this torment of what this looks like in people from my own family members, and I got to go through it myself to understand what this card has been sitting here. I didn't pull tarot, but this face is staring at me, because look at how she's throwing all that in the pot there. It's about balance. This card represents balance. Daughter of reconcilers. This card really represents somebody alchemizing their nature, their nurture, everything that comes at them in this. It's always about balance. It's always about that center point. And yes, society isn't designed for people that can see stuff, or hear stuff, or feel, or have any sort of auditory hallucinations, whatever it may be. Yeah, this world isn't designed. Vegas isn't designed for that. And if this is the kind of world you want to live in, you're choosing the lights, you're choosing the pizzazz, you're choosing the false reality, which is falling. But if you're ready for the light, if you're ready to invite in, invoke, and truly be holy and separated, which is so pure, it's so innocent. It's that feeling you had when you were 5, when you were 3, when you were 7, when you were young, and all the evil couldn't get into you because you were so good. God is good. That's why you have to come to God like a child. So histrionic personality disorder it affects the way a person thinks, perceives, and relates to others. Preoccupation with physical appearance, genes, abuse, or instability during childhood. So I was shown in that, there's more. I was shown in that a child that was tormented, because that's what, if you ever read any scripture, it's like really interesting. God will give, I'm seeing Job, the story of Job, where God gives the devil permission to basically torment him in all types of ways. Takes his children, his stuff, everything, his animals, his livestock. And Job's just like there, like, God, why am I here? Just take me. Just take me. Like, what's the point of this, you know? Because everything's an equilibrium process. Evil has had time to reign. And while something like this or any other spectrum disorder is qualified and you can quantify it and calculate it and mathematically tell someone and show a pattern of it and say it's in this person, that person, and look at the pattern. Pay attention to the pattern. Just because you can do that doesn't mean it's pure or holy or honest. It's limiting, because the child was pure and then it was tormented. So when the child became tormented, their mind split and then they became something else. Then they became preoccupied with, because think about it, I'm seeing a child going through turmoil, and no one's around to help that child find its equilibrium and balance. And this distorts the innocence. That's the point. The jealousy, the evil, the rage, the anger, the whatever the evil wants from the light comes into the mind and it poisons it. And then no one's there to, because we're not living holy. We don't believe in God anymore. We don't believe in true sanctuary and respecting our temples. When parents don't respect their temples, the child is vulnerable to evil in darker ways than it would be if the parents knew how to protect the child. So someone like this has an inappropriate, sexual, provocative, seeks attention, talks dramatically with strong opinions, easily influenced, rapidly changing emotion, thinks relationships are closer than they are, seductive, animated, self-indulgent, vibrant, and extroverted. I've been this. I guarantee you I got videos where people could probably be like, yep, she had that moment or whatever. Because I know I was tormented as a child. And I know I let evil in. And I know I allowed the dark to puppet me. So when I seeked attention or talk dramatically, look, whatever, any of this kind of stuff, whenever I did that, it wasn't because I was balanced. And it wasn't because I was honest and true. It's because I was leaning towards evil. Right now I'm leaning towards good and God and light and love. Am I perfectly there? No, but I'm gonna get there. Promise you that. This purification is important. How do all these keep moving? Am I like, what am I doing? So I'm only gonna use my cards today because I did so much purifying that I'm just like, It says, I am a valuable piece of art. Yeah, because art is valuable. You know why? Because God creates the best masterpieces. And the devil, or whatever that is, the evil, wants to go in and cut people open and look at their organs and look at their heart and like assess what God has done. Like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is so perfect. And then try to replicate and clone or whatever it. And it's like, it's fine how it is. We need to stop trying to, mess with it. I've got the witchcraft versus the occult. Witchcraft is less ranking and about spirits and powers. The occult is about order and law, rituals, satanic, abusive, and hidden. Yeah, because the occult is the unnatural, and quote unquote witchcraft, please don't come for me. Witchcraft is more organic, meaning you tap in naturally. You don't have to like have all these rules and regulations around it. It's so pure. It's so, and I don't mean go be a witch. I'm just saying which is funny because you don't hear the Bible saying occult magic is bad. You hear them specifically saying witches are bad and witchcraft. And look at what they did to witches. Look at what they did to the Jews or the African slaves, or like, look what they do when it's very pure and natural and it seems crazy to us indoctrinated Matrix people, the ones that have been in Vegas, right? Or trapped in the Wizard of Oz or whatever. It seems crazy to us. But they want us to think that, because if you really look at the organic nature of witchcraft, dark witches, be gone. We ain't talking about y'all. Pure white magic is so good. It uses elements, it uses the earth, it uses poetry to bring love and light to the planet in a natural way through organic matter. It's so pure. Anything can be poisoned and turned dark, but the pureness of witchcraft is nothing like the occult. The occult requires rituals. You have to be like they said, the fraternity. You have to be in brotherhood. It's interesting there's no women. I had no idea that women weren't allowed, and I see why. Women are too smart. I don't mean that to be belittling to men, but women are very, very wise, which is why we move like the serpent, which is why our bodies are like, you know what I'm saying? Because we are beguiled. We ate the apple. We represent flow. We'll flow out of the rituals. We will move past the limitations. 3333. Asperger's syndrome. You're just a tree branch. You're just a tree branch. Asperger's syndrome. A developmental disorder affecting ability to effectively socialize and communicate. Autism spectrum, higher functioning, hard time relating, likes fixed routines, recognizing cues, misunderstanding social norms, lacks coordination, usually body posture and facial expressions. This is just about you see how they label things so I'm seeing how that syndrome has something to do with extreme femininity, extreme rebellion to the occult, extreme opposition to the fixed, ritualistic, cabal, Freemason peoples. There's an extreme rebellion to that, which is extreme femininity, which is the most tormented, sought after, potent source of energy that the evil loves to feed on. So that could be a child. Think about children. They're just kind of like floppy, and they're just kind of like they don't really have, they're not very like stern, you know? You watch a little child, they're just like really in the flow. And evil really wants to feed on that, because it is not that. It is fixed. It is square. Evil has made things fixed, forced. Okay. Keanu Reeves. I love him. He comes out so much in France. Don't play with me. These are both representing the anomaly. Prince recognized quite literally that evil was taking his essence, and he purified himself and changed him to the formerly known as, because he recognized that because he's talking about femininity, he does not go with the functionality of fixed, of what they wanted him to be or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He just said, no, he was so tapped in, so in tune. Why they took him out, probably because if he was still here, man. Keanu Reeves, same thing. As a real person and as a character he has played, really represents that one being that says, yeah, I'm not gonna fall for this. I'm not gonna participate. I recognize the rituals that you constantly invite me to, because you have to give permission to evil to come in. And it's really, really sad to me that at some level, let's say you're 8 years old, at some level, if you've been tormented, you're 8, you've been tormented, your parents are alcoholics, they're beating each other up, something like that, and you're sitting there alone, you don't know what to do, you don't know what's good, you don't know what's bad, because your caregivers are supposed to be your God, your representation, reflection of good, and you only see them doing bad, and then evil just creeps into your bedroom and says, hey, little Billy, you know what? And you don't actually get to have this conversation because they're behind the veil, but they inspire in your thoughts. They're like, you know, little Billy, I think that it would be a good idea to look up porn, you know? Wouldn't that be interesting? And little Billy's like, I did hear the older kids talking about that stuff. And then he goes and looks it up because he made the choice to invite the evil in. And then from there, it just keeps going. It just keeps getting darker and darker. Oh. Whew. Yep, look what came out. Sovereignty and dark magic. Because, oh, there's one more. Ancestors. Man, our ancestors work hard for us. We cannot disrespect them like this. Sovereignty, dark magic. Having supreme authority and power. That's the point. So the dark magic is trying to have authority and power over your temple, your vessel, your spaceship. There's a reason they do that. They have to be invited in. This is God gives you this temple to keep it purified and sanctified from others. Our ancestors were really tapped into this. They really knew good and evil. They really practiced rituals to understand how to keep banished spirits and dark, magic out and stuff. And here we are in this time of so much information. What's true, what's false, where do I go, left or right? Like, I don't know what to do. I'm frozen in fear, PTSD. I don't know. It's time to tap the fuck back in. I'm sorry. See, maybe right there I just let evil in. I don't know. Fire truck went by. Maybe I need to stop cussing. Maybe that's not a good thing. I don't know. But we'll get there. Emotional blackmail. Controlling parent, demanding boss, manipulative partner, a difficult friend may try to stonewall you or manipulate, guilt, shame, threat, blame you into doing what they want because they're controllers. It's now, I made a video, I'm seeing a video I made where it's like master manipulator or something like that. It's got these cartoon characters, all their eyes are white. So there must be something in that video, I don't remember what I said, but there's something in that that's really important. Because I said this day will come or something like that. This is what's happening. People have contracts with each other, relationships, vows. I will meet you here at this time. Just having relationships with people is a contract at this point. Be aware. Emotional blackmail is something like this. You choose right now. I am holy. I separate myself. I pray to God. I ask for protection. I protect myself. I purify myself. And then you get that phone call, that invite, that asks to come into your energy or get your energy back. That's the spiritual battle we're in. And as isolating as it may be, that's where we are. It's an experiment on your soul, okay? Because this is what they would like. Geno, CIDE, and the powers that be that they want power over your soul. I'm seeing this. I don't know how much this matters, but it's really interesting to me that the King of England or whatever is related to Count Dracula. Whatever that means. What is Count Dracula? I don't know. Didn't he like eat people or something? I really don't know. But it matters because in our imagination, we understand vampires and what they are. They are beings that somehow, some way feed off of us energetically, whether it's flesh, whether it's blood, whether there's ranking, maybe there's energy vampires, maybe there's blood-sucking vampires, maybe the more powerful vampires probably do. That's why these loud sounds are coming, because I'm seeing rituals. I'm seeing them. I'm sorry. They're in circles and they're in the dark and they're chanting and there's babies. There's babies. And they do it for the brotherhood. They do it for the cause. And they sacrifice. That's how they keep up their fake world. That's how they keep the veil thick. So we can't see what they're doing. They come into our dreams. They feed on us in the astral plane. And I don't know why it's this dark. I don't know. It's so ugly though. Mathematics. I'm ready to, if I had a bomb, I hate math. I hate it. I know 2 + 2 = 4. Okay? I realize that. I don't care beyond that. Like, I don't know that I need to do it. I don't know that I need to think about it. I don't know that, I feel like all the schooling and everything, it really pressurizes us and pushes us to be in such a logical frame of mind that we think that being creative or artistic or irrational or feminine, having an original thought even, because if you're too logical, you fail to tap into your ability to come up with an original thought, because it doesn't fit in the frame of mathematics, because you're not a mathematician and they've made you believe that since you're not a mathematician, you are just a peasant. You're just a pawn, which is so saddening because I looked up the reason of the Holocaust and I was like, for real though, like for real, refine this for me. Tell me the basic reason they did this. The basic reason they thought this was fucking normal to go in and do this to people. And one of the simplest answers was, well, they saw what America did with slaves and how quickly this matrix was built on the backs of slaves. So to get the progress they wanted to see, because of the famine and everything they were facing, they didn't have enough food to feed everyone. They didn't have enough. So they had to do something. They decided the peasants, the population was going to be forced into these laborious whatever camps, and then hate and jealousy and all that stuff just seeped in, and it became this, in just a few years, millions of people. It's like, that's what mathematics does. It traps you into believing insanity type of things, like, which is why in that movie with the cartoons and the little emotions in the brain with the anxiety, that's why the anxiety lost its ish and went straight efficiency mode. That's why we can't be too much we gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. If we're too trapped in the AI, it's going to efficiently decide that we suck. Or, how do I want to say that? If we're too sucked in, we're going to efficiently decide that to say that. I guess simply too efficient, too focused on that, it supports that world that wants to be dominating over God, over good. The more we support technology, AI, hyper efficiency, over draining ourselves, exhausting ourselves, pushing ourselves to the limits that our bodies cannot handle, we are encouraging and inviting this beast system, this matrix, this world that does not support good, God, and pureness and holiness and separateness. We are inviting and invoking. I see it as like, I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like it because I'm seeing this like machine just working really, really hard, really, really fast to get to this point where it opens some sort of portal. Now I'm seeing like Hercules, you know, where Hades opened the portal where his beings came out. And again, that's a cartoon. That's like a nice little marshmallow way of saying it. That's where the entities were able to physically come into reality. There's something about that, like coming through the phones, coming through the computers, the Wi-Fi towers, the grid. Shit. Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Adventure Journey or whatever, 1889. The story where he was searching for portals in Russia, the underground world. He left in February from Castle Trump, and the snow that disappeared. So he went to the Arctic and the snow disappeared and turned into like grassland. He traveled 100 miles north to where there was giants and demons and witches, which is literally equivalent to the early 1900s when they were mapping the Arctic. General Richard E. Byrd literally described this, guys. Sure, did he read the book? I don't effing know. But it doesn't matter because he was a general in the army and he was paid by the Rothschilds and the government to literally map out the Arctic. He was the first to fly over the airplane in like 1916 or 19 or something. And he did it all up into the 40s. And he came back to tell stories that literally match up to this marvelous tale. And it says he traveled 100 miles north. So I'm thinking of the North Pole where there's a portal. And it says the land of the transparent folk, the underworld. And it was beautiful. And they couldn't lie. They were so transparent. They just had to tell the truth. They were light and pale and they had crystal eyes. All types of things. He saw ant people. Nobody ever felt cold because he was describing how the temperature was just so perfect. And it wasn't cold again until he left, when he got back to the ice, and it was really cold again and he saw the ice. And he spoke of this lens of rock crystal, which is fascinating to me because if you look at the original maps, or before we adopted this particular way that we believe, there's this clear, obvious potential ice ring thing that goes around us. And he speaks of it as on the other side is this angelic place. And I'm seeing the never-ending story where there's that place that he goes into the book with the castle princess queen lady. And he says it goes for like 1,000 miles. Like it's just like this massive like barrier. But it's like the way he described it, it's just this beautiful thing and we're trapped in it. And he described where it was, like Greenland, northern Russia. What's going on? It's so weird. It's so cool though. It's so cool. I love it. I'm so grateful. Yeah, Bitcoin, plasma. Plasma, first of all, I think the most card I've ever pulled is this plasma card because we don't quite understand what's going on. So the first little thought I had was plasma banks. And then what they do is they take it. I'm seeing how the dark force wants to take the plasma and harness it because it's trying really, really hard to be like God or to be of equal opposite opponent. Like it wants to be. This is so interesting. We're gonna have to like unravel this over time. But the plasma is really important. The fourth state of matter. Solid, liquid, gas, plasma. I'm hungry. Solid, liquid, gas, plasma. Oh, wait. Gas, liquid, solid, no. It would be gas, liquid, solid, and then plasma? I don't know. Whoever knows, let me know. Bitcoin came out. And the fawn response. I did write down the same card. Really interesting. I wrote that on the same card. Like I'm seeing how something's about to go down with cryptocurrency. That's gonna freeze us. It's gonna like maybe even freeze everything. Thing about fawn response is it puts people, it's a PTSD response to trauma, stress. And when you're traumatized and frozen in fear, you often look for someone to be like a savior to unfreeze you, to get you out of that state of frame of mind or whatever. Conjunction says two planets in the same degree in the same sign. It bonds two energies. It's a powerful influence and focal point, intensifies the energy. And it says it's good. 0 degrees or within 10 degrees. So something very close. it's like they're very close to making this happen. I kid you not, as crazy as it sounds, there's something about Revelations that we are not willing to accept what time it is, okay? And on my little schizophrenic journey of my labyrinth fun hole, I was shown a lot about this chapter. It's the only chapter I've read over and over and over again, because it related so much to what's happening in today's time, whether we like to admit it or not. But I'm seeing how there's a lot of different beliefs at this time of what's going on. What I really saw, this is my heaviest highlighted page here, because this is where I believe we are, somewhere around here, because time doesn't exist, but somehow it does. There is a timeline of events, and I see this. Your wrath has come, the time has come for judging the dead, and for rewarding the servants and prophets, and your saints, and those who reverence your name, both small and great, and for destroying those who destroy the earth. Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and within his temple we seen the ark of his covenant. And there came flashes of lightning, rumbling, pearls of thunder, an earthquake, and a great hailstorm. The woman and the dragon. A great and wondrous sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. His tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that he might devour her child. The moment it was born, she gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. And her child was snatched up to God and to his throne. The woman fled to the desert, to a place preserved for her by God, where she might be taken care of for 1260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, the ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who led the whole world astray. He was hurled to earth, and his angels with him. And then I want to skip forward to this part, because you should read this. I'm at Revelations 12. Just read Revelations. Because he knows his time is short. So he's filled with fury. He knows his time is short. The woman was given the 2 wings of a great eagle, so that she might fly to the place prepared for her in the desert, where she would be taken care of for a times and a half a time, out of the serpent's reach. Then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. The woman, remember we were talking about feminine energy? Like, I'm really seeing that as the evil and the woman. You hear these cars? You see what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm talking about in a way. I don't know everything. Okay. He who has an ear, let him hear. The beast out of the earth. I really think this is where we are. Then I saw another beast coming out of the earth. He had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. He exercised all the authority of the first beast on his behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. And he performed great and miraculous signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to earth in full view of men. Because of the signs he was given power to do on behalf of the first beast, he deceived the inhabitants of earth. He ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. He was given power to breathe to the image of the first beast, so that it could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. He also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his hand or his forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name. This calls for wisdom. If anyone has insight, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is man's number. His number is 666. And then it goes on to talk about the 144,000. The harvest of the earth. I think we're gonna just have to get real into this in the next, it doesn't matter. We're gonna start getting into this because I saw and I see Bitcoin, I see crypto, I see the exchange currency changing. I see something about the monetary system, and we're already there with the phones. Like, y'all can't tell me this isn't weird. I was born in the 90s. Don't play with me. Don't tell me that it didn't, like, this has been a design. And this has really been seeping into me since if you go back where I look like I'm in the 1950s with my hair, it's because I was really picking up on how the TV has been, it's been like, that's one of the marvelous creations of evil, is it used the TV to capture us, and we're just closer and closer. Now with these phones, I can't, if you got an Apple Watch, throw it out the window, chuck it on the road and let a car run over it. That should not be on your wrist. That is not, we're gonna get into this, okay? I'm gonna put my little stopper here, and we'll be back. So if you appreciated any of that, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.